Hi, I'm Stephanie,
And I'm Leon.
and we're going to talk about some technology, video games, and a bunch of other stuff today.
Sounds like the right time to do it.
So should we start with the CES convention?
Yeah, so CES, big consumer electronics show in Vegas every year.
Yes.
Just passed, second week of January. Some interesting stuff. I mean, it's a huge, giant show. And there's always tons of stuff, mostly centered around, oddly enough, consumer electronics. But, you know, there's always some gaming news that comes out of that show, even though E3 is in June, where most of the game companies like to show their new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some interesting, gaming-related items that came out of that show. And I guess the first one was what a lot of people thought might be the Steam box, right? This company, this PC manufacturer, I don't know how to pronounce their name, actually. It's XI3. But I don't know what kind of word that forms.
What is there not to pronounce?
You could look at that a number of different ways, but they were showing a box called the Piston.
Okay.
It's got AMD powered, like quad-core processor in there. Decent integrated graphics, 8 gigs of RAM. Tons of USB ports, 3.0 and 2.0. Can handle 4K resolution supposedly. But that PC they were showing was supposed to be about $1,000, and I'm pretty sure the Steam box is supposed to come in at a much lower price than that.
Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty good. It was a pretty nice little, unique
Yeah, it's
cube.
sort of a stylized X sort of a shape. And I think the actual Steam box will run on Linux too in the end. To keep the costs down, because Windows licenses cost money, so
yeah, that kind of makes sense.
they're going to want to run it on Linux.
All right, so I guess they said that might have been a type of Steam box, but not the...
Yeah, I mean, we know Valve is working with that company to produce the hardware that's going to come out of the Steam box, or that's going to go into it. But, it's probably going to be less than that. It's probably going to have to be considerably less.
1,000's kind of a lot for...
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to be their main platform. But it is an interesting design. If you do want to pick up that particular box that they showed off, that's going to be available starting in March.
And it will run the Steam for TV perfectly fine. So if you have the money and...
Yeah, but it's a nice little thing that you can just stick into your living room. Well, that's
the whole thing. I mean, you could build something probably a lot cheaper that does just as much.
Right. Yeah, but
it's the size factor.
But they have a really nice integrated design that you wouldn't be able to build on your own. Even a micro ITX board is much bigger than that. Yeah, but it looks like a nice box though. So I'll be interested to see what the reaction to that is when it actually comes out.
Cool. But
there were some other items, right? There was NVIDIA's surprise announcement, the Project Shield.
Wait a minute, wasn't that Reagan's announcement in the 80s?
You're thinking of the Star Wars ICBM
Star Wars thing, yeah.
Shield. No, this doesn't do that much.
Okay.
This doesn't block missiles. It only plays games.
Alright. I thought we would have been beyond that by now, but...
Right.
Okay, so it just plays games.
Yeah. It's it looked nice though. It looks kind of like a 360 style gamepad. With like a 5-inch 720p multi-touch screen attached to it. And it's native Android, so of course can play all those Android games that are out there. It's based on Tegra 4, which is NVIDIA's new mobile chipset. It's supposed to be 6 times faster than the Tegra 3 that came before it. That's what the Ouya is based on, by the way. The Ouya, The Ouya is based on Tegra 3.
So,
and this is a step beyond that. The other thing that it had that's kind of differentiates it, though, is that it has kind of remote play. It can stream games from your PC, and you can play them on your handheld device as if you're at the PC.
So it'd have to be your PC, or is it kind of like a server over Wi-Fi kind of thing?
Yeah, no, it's not remote. It's your own machine.
That would be kind of interesting to see.
Well, it's kind of like what the Wii U does. Like where you can have a Wii U game running, and instead of outputting to the TV, it outputs to the tablet controller.
I'd be curious to see what kind of lag there is. because you not only are using like Bluetooth controller, right?
Right.
But then you're also streaming from Wi-Fi a game.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good enough to do that.
Okay, so that's coming soon.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they say a price?
I don't think I heard a price.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't know. This is weird for NVIDIA because typically they're an OEM. They provide equipment to other manufacturers, and this is sort of one of their first branded products as NVIDIA. But the announcement of this product did elicit a response from Casio, the CEO of Sony, kind of warning them a little bit to say like, you're welcome to it, but handheld gaming is a sort of a risky business. I think that's been. I think they've learned that.
Well, don't tell Nintendo that because
right.
They don't seem to have a problem with handhelds.
Yeah, but the fact that this device comes out, it's yet another Android-based device.
Yes. That's they're flooding the market with these things.
Right. So, I mean, they can all claim this, like, hey, we've got a ton of games coming out, but that's true for all of the Android devices that are coming out. So I guess that kind of levels the playing field between them. It might not be a huge competitive advantage to distinguish one from the other, but at least they will have games. I mean, at least these devices will come out, and there is a library ready to run on them.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about the Android is you have an established community and game base, too.
Right. Yeah, plenty of games to pick from.
So, I mean, one thing I did notice, I wasn't overly impressed with CES this year, but I noticed there was a lot of Android-based products coming out.
Yeah.
From games to computers to even televisions. So that's getting a huge push in the next year.
Yeah, I mean it's free for the most part, so that's why it's readily available for any vendor or manufacturer that wants to use it. So that helps them get out there in the marketplace. But there was another item there that I thought was interesting. It was the Oculus Rift.
Oh, the Kickstarter project?
Yeah, it was announced last year in the summertime, and they went public with their Kickstarter. I think their goal was something like $250K, and I think you had to buy in at about $300 to get one, to get the dev kit. So really, that's what they're offering. They're offering a dev kit. It's not a finished consumer product yet.
Oh, kind of like how Ouya started off? Okay. So basically that was a virtual reality goggle kind of set?
Right. So it's basically a head-mounted display, 3D, virtual reality. We've been hearing about virtual reality for almost 2 decades now. It's got very precise head tracking. So you've got it strapped on your head, and you've got some 3D environment that you can look around in. As you turn your head, your viewpoint shifts, and you can look around in the world, and it really feels like you're there, like more so than a first-person shooter, for example.
Okay.
So I guess in this, these days a lot of people have 3D TVs or go to the movies and see 3D movies, and the common complaint is, I got to wear these glasses.
Yeah.
It's annoying. I would like to just be able to look directly.
I want it embedded in my optics.
Maybe that's the next step.
I think that's what we need. We need to think a little bit ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, do you think that's something that people are going to gravitate towards though, having these goggles strapped to their heads?
I don't think so. I think that maybe when it was kind of like a kind of a hot subject in the 90s.
Yeah.
And they used to have those virtual reality stations that you can go into. But I think like I almost see more of the kind of Google glasses idea, where it's like it kind of embeds things over what you're seeing in front of you.
Right, the augmented reality.
Augmented realities, yeah. I think people would have an easier time adjusting to that than something that you're gonna have to block out everything. And as a gamer, though, it sounds really cool.
Super immersive.
It sounds awesome.
More so than anything else.
I don't see it catching on. But hey.
Right.
Who knows? If the technology is cheap enough, you never know.
I'm certainly interested. I mean...
I would definitely like to try it out.
Not for extended periods of time, but certainly, for fun little breaks, you could
There was that movie, Existenz or something like that. Existenz. Was there?
Existenz, yeah.
Existenz, right?
Uh-huh.
And that kind of dove into that idea of...
That movie was kind of trippy.
Yeah, it was good. I thought it was good.
Well, everyone likes to bring up Lawnmower Man, too.
Right, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was the 90s also. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so maybe we'll get there soon enough.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll be in the 90s really soon, I have a feeling.
The 2090s.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay. Was there any other big blockbusters that came out of CES?
I mean, there's a lot of consumer grade stuff. Samsung had their...
Like talking refrigerators and...
Yeah,
air conditioners you can control from your cell phone.
They're all over that. Well, the other big news was 4K displays. Like in general, a lot of companies are showing off, 4,000 pixel displays.
Wow,
whatever.
We need 4,000
works out
pixels.
to. It's more than that, but
the people are like demanding more pixels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like more pixels. Sure, why not?
Why not, right?
That's been a hot item, but Samsung had that floating glass display, which I don't know. I didn't like the design that much.
Oh yeah, the display on an easel.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it looked odd to me.
It looks. I don't know. I don't know if I want this screen like kind of framed, but not really because it's not perfectly like symmetrical. I don't know. Maybe you had to be there and experience it.
Yeah, I think they're trying to give this illusion that it's floating in the air, but. I don't know, the support.
So is that what people want too? A floating screen? is watching it on a shelf and like on a desk not good enough, or whatever you have your TV on?
Yeah, maybe while you have your VR goggles on, you can admire your floating TV.
I want my screen floating.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course there were thousands of products shown at CES, and we weren't there to see them firsthand, but these were the ones that stuck out.
I already put my order in for the USB fork.
You saw a USB fork?
There's a fork it's USB. So the thing is, it has like a motor or vibration or something, and so when you eat, it's going to exercise your mouth.
That doesn't sound safe.
I don't know, but...
I see a lot of tongue stabbings coming in the future. It's
available in really cute colors, and
sold.
I eat a lot, and it was affordable, so I think I'm gonna have to place my order.
Okay.
Plus, I could use a good workout in the mouth.
I knew.
Wait. That didn't sound right.
I'm gonna let that one stand.
Okay. Let's move on.
Well, I have an example of something that wasn't at CES this year.
Okay. What wasn't?
It's a game console from Casio.
What? Wait a minute. Casio is still in business.
Yep.
And they actually did release a synthesizer last year last year, which is 2012, which was the first time they got into the synthesizer business since probably like the early 90s or...
I still have mine.
Oh, good for you. But they also were in video game business or something. Yeah,
apparently.
And this does not look like one of those like LCD games. What is this thing?
So this is the Casio Loopy. Yes, the Loopy. Also called the MySeal computer at model SV100.
Okay.
So I guess...
what are you doing with this?
Well, I like oddball consoles. This, last time we talked about the Palladium, which was geared towards kids. This one is geared towards...
So, okay. Go ahead.
This one was marketed for girls. This was a console specifically for girls.
So the other console you bought because you wanted to bring out the inner child in you, and then you bought this one because you want to bring out the inner female in you.
This has nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay. It's not a personal thing.
It's not. This doesn't appeal to my particular personality, other than the fact that it's a weird piece of hardware.
Okay.
So this came out in 1995. It's got a Hitachi processor, much like the Sega Saturn and the 32X. It's a 32-bit CPU.
Really?
So very impressive.
Are you sure?
It doesn't look it, right? But the gimmick with this thing is that it's got a built-in printer. Now, how many game consoles do you know have a built-in printer?
Game Boy?
You're right. True enough.
I don't know if there's anything else.
Mm-hmm. This one's color, though.
Oh, wow.
So it had a thermal transfer color printer, and you put sticker rolls into the feed here, and you passed it through.
Okay.
And it would print like little stickers. So this sort of capitalized on the popularity of those like print club, like photo booths where you can go in and like, take pictures of yourself and maybe doodle on the screen and add graphics and then print it out.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was even an additional device made for this called the Magical Shop, oddly enough. And
what might that be?
So it looks like this.
Okay.
And you plug it right into the cart slot.
It's got a really big button.
Yeah. And this was a video capture device. So normally the system lets you, play certain games that you can like create pictures and then print them out through the printer. This one lets you capture images from external sources, VCR, other games, whatever you got. And then you can do the same kind of thing.
So it has RCA jacks on the back.
Yep.
So you're going to hook it up to like a video camera or computer, whatever it might be. And then you can, I guess, take a freeze frame of something.
Yeah, it just takes a still shot.
Kind of doodle it up and then Instagram it or whatever Instagram was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then print it out.
No Instagram integration.
So this is almost ahead of its time.
It's kind of neat, I thought. It's an interesting little device.
And this was available like in Toys R Us,
Maybe.
Radio Shack, Lionel Toys, Lionel Kitty City.
Could be. Well, only in Japan.
Oh, only in Japan.
Yeah, this was a Japan-only system.
Aha. Japan always gets the coolest things.
Yeah, so this is an example of what a game looks like.
Okay.
Kind of similar to like a Super Famicom sized cart.
Did you ever plug it into a Super Famicom?
No, it doesn't look like it would fit. I didn't want to risk it.
I have to do the joystick test. There's no joystick, it's a control pad.
Mm-hmm.
It's very curvy. I have to say, you almost want to caress it, the curves. Did you ever find yourself doing that?
No, it didn't really appeal to me in that way.
Okay. I was just testing you.
It's more of it's got feminine curves. It's what the system is for.
It actually feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that really stands out, it has the upper buttons, is this interesting kind of button configuration, which may not be ideal for you fighting fans out there, but I would imagine there's not too many fighting games available for that.
No fighting games, as far as I know. This game is called Anime Land. In this exciting title, you frame a character.
Okay.
Like a portrait of a character. You can doodle on it and then print it out. But some other games are Bow Wow Puppy Love Story. That's like another hot title.
Sounds like a good one.
Yeah, that one you live the life of a dog basically. You see the world through a young girl's pet.
Has to be a young girl though. Can't be.
That's the story. That's the backstory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the doggy's name is Peach, and that's like probably a girl named him Peach.
Okay.
Yeah. I want a room in Loopytown. That's like another big title.
Loopytown. Yeah. That sounds like where I live.
So you can relate. It's supposed to be Sims-like. You go to work, you furnish your house. All the fun things that girls like to do, right?
Do you mind if I plug it in and try it out later?
Oh yeah, of course. We've got to see what it's got.
Look at the size of this eject button. I feel kind of deep it goes to.
It's got a lot of.
Why would they make that eject button so large?
It's got nothing else going on the front panel, so it's got plenty of room for a large eject button.
It's not even like. What are we injecting? This cartridge that would go in there?
Yeah, I took it out without even using the button.
Do we really need an eject button for a cartridge?
So, There you go.
Like, why is that? Can't we just pull it up?
It's like a toaster oven.
Or I guess if it's a little kid, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It might be kind of hard for them to pull it out.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't want to say that. There were only 10 games made for the system. 10 or 11.
One player? There's no multiplayer?
No. No multiplayer games.
Pokemon. They have Pokemon for it?
No.
Well?
They're all dress-up games or dating sims or, adventure games, things like that.
All right.
Yeah. Exciting, right?
It's interesting. Exciting, we'll see. When I plug in that bad boy and check out what Anime Land looks like.
But in the meantime, I did have a question that I wanted to ask you.
Okay, asking me a question, please.
Well, it's flu season, and a lot of people are, homesick or going to work sick and getting other people sick. So, I mean, I guess the question that comes to mind is, have you ever been homesick and, you had some gaming memories maybe that helped you feel better in your ailing period?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, growing up, I was a very sick child. Mm-hmm. So this is a little backstory of mine.
Okay.
So I don't know, I had a lot of immunity issues, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I was always missing school all the time. But the one thing, and even in my adult years, I tend to get sick pretty easily. I never felt the urge to play video games when I was sick, which was kind of the most frustrating thing, because it's like, here's your opportunity where you could be home like 3 days or a week.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have all this time to play, whatever game I want. Mm-hmm. And yet I was just like, the last thing I would ever want to do is play video games, because I was just
so demotivated.
Yeah, maybe like I would take my toys in bed with me, and maybe I would, do something like that and pretend they're talking or something. Whatever you do when you play with toys. But I don't know. I felt like my fever would go up when I would play a game. I would get too excited and feel more sick. Mm-hmm. So I have to say that I never played games when I was sick. Interesting. However, let's hear your story, and then I'll tell you my.
you want my story to break
I'm gonna hold off.
You're pressing pause on your story.
Yeah, I want to hear what you have to say first.
All right. Well, I mean, a few years back, I think it was '96. I'm gonna say. January of '96.
Okay, it's about 6 years. 16.
Yeah, New York got clobbered by a huge blizzard.
Yes, I was stuck in upstate New York.
So you remember that one? Mm-hmm. I had the misfortune of breaking my ankle during that storm. So I had a cast on my leg, and my foot was so swollen and sensitive that I couldn't step down at all. So I ended up staying home a few weeks, and during that time, I caught up on. There were really two games that filled my time. The first one was Duke Nukem 3D, the original Duke Nukem 3D that came out on the PC. Great fun game. I was doing all kinds of fun things that I couldn't do while I was, immobilized with this cast on my leg. So I was flying around. I was getting shrunk. I was assaulting alien motherships. So that was a fun time. That was a great game for the era. The other one that really made an impact on me was Warcraft 2. That was out at the same time, and it was really the first RTS game that I really threw myself into. The real-time strategy genre didn't grip me before that game. So that was the one where maps would take hours and hours to clear. So that really helped the day to pass quickly.
Yeah, that game was very popular even back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So those were super memorable for me, because it was a time where I got to stay home from work for a bit and really dig into some gaming. But
so I mean, if you want, we could break your ankle again, give you a chance to catch up on some games, maybe.
I feel like I could game without having to go that far.
I know some people.
I'm sure you do. This is Brooklyn, after all.
Yes.
But I'm gonna thank you for the offer, but I'm gonna pass for now. Yeah,
understandable. So that was your two big memories. That was good.
Yeah, that was the time where I really.
So nothing when you had a fever or the flu or anything like that. When you want to sneeze on the joystick when you're playing.
No, I think I'm like you. I just get too swollen and bleary to want to play anything. And
yeah, I'm curious to know what other people what they experience.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I'm glad you brought up the whole ankle thing, because there was a time where I was in the hospital and I had to take some time off to recuperate, and that's where I got a chance to play Portal. So I got the orange box actually, and experienced Portal, which I actually really liked that game. And I did play a little bit of Half-Life. I never finished it, but I never got into the Half-Life series until I had the orange box. So it was a great opportunity to catch up on that. Yeah,
definitely worth going back to. I would recommend it.
Lately, we've been both playing a similar game, which happened to go free this past 2 weeks, I think. It's called Cubed Rally Redline.
That's right.
Cubed Rally Redline. It's by a company called No Can Games?
Win.
No Can Win.
No Can Win.
No Can Win. It's for iOS. I don't know if it's for Android.
Yeah.
But it was 99 cents. The developer made it free, I guess, to get the word out. But the interesting thing that stuck out for me was that it kind of reminded me of RC Pro-Am a little bit, with that kind of isometric view.
Yeah.
And it's a slot racer type of game. So you're basically, you just move left and right, and you're constantly moving forward. You do have a brake. I don't usually use the brake, and then you can change slots. There's like 6 different kind of alleys you can choose as you're racing.
Yeah, 6 lanes.
And you're not racing against anyone. You have little missions to do.
Right, yeah, basically achievements. You can use them as secondary objectives, I suppose, while you're playing.
Okay.
Usually I find that they just happen. Like I select the next one and choose it, and then as I play, then hopefully I've gotten far enough to get it. But yeah, it's an infinite run type of game, right? Randomly generated tracks. You can't really slow your car down except for that emergency time slow brake, where you could use it to carefully maneuver through some hairier obstacles. But it's got music by 8-Bit Weapon, popular.
Yeah, that was another
popular
kind of big selling point for me. 8-Bit Weapon is good. If you don't know about it, check them out.
Yeah, for sure.
Good band.
So I kind of like the game. It's really easy controls. All you have to do is swipe left and right to change lanes, and then you've got the brake button on the bottom.
Very simple.
I feel though that the difficulty ramps up a little too quickly. Every time you have to collect gas as you're driving, and every time you get a gas can, the game speeds up a little bit, just a little bit. And I find usually by the 6th or 7th one, I'm going pretty fast, and you have to be. And then the obstacles get more complex. So I would really, I like the look of the game, and I'd like to spend more time driving through the different obstacles at set speeds before it gets faster. That's my real only complaint. But it's the kind of game, single life. Let's see how far you can get, and kind of plays it well, I feel.
And there's trees in the road and cows. Yeah. There's cows that run around, but they're kind of done in a cutesy kind of cubish. Everything's kind of cubish.
It's a 3D cubey world.
It is.
So that's why I thought Bit would be interested in it.
Yeah, well, it also was based on the developer's first game, which was Cubed. I would get tongue twisted on these.
Yeah, it's Cubed Redline Racer.
Cubed
Rally Racer.
Cubed Rally Racer.
Sorry.
So that one's still available. That one was done in, I think, 2010. This one was done in 2012. Similar type of game.
Yeah, similar. Not slot based, but I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it yet, no. You get one mission kind of per turn, and you can select the mission you want to do. But the thing that annoyed me was you can try doing a mission, and at the same time you'd be doing other missions, but you don't get credit for it.
Right.
So that means you have to replay it and just over and over. And even though it is kind of randomized, I don't think the stages really, like, it seems pretty much the same thing every time.
Right.
So it needs more variety or...
Yeah, I think the longer you survive, the more variety you see, which is probably the reason I'd like to stay alive longer in the game. But, you know, it's part of the challenge, I guess.
It's okay. I think, for free, it's definitely worth a try and download it and play it. You seem to enjoy it a little bit more than I did. I'm also not really a racing car fan, so I did like RC Pro-Am, but my experience in racing games is kind of small. So it was fun, but I don't see myself going back to it that often.
Fair enough.
But let's see what Bit thinks, because we have one thumbs up, one thumbs in the middle, and one decagon.
One thumbless.
I don't know why.
Creature. That's gonna vote on this somehow.
So I have to unmute Bit because sometimes
you cannot mute Bit. You should know better.
Doesn't know when to shut up sometimes. Okay, so Bit, you played this cubed rally racer Redline.
Cubed rally Redline
game.
That's right.
Frios. What did you think of it? Is this something that you're gonna keep playing on and on? Sold.
Wow. Easy.
All right, so it's 2 against 1. Anyone want to try it and download it?
All right, I'm gonna have to. Hopefully, I can find Bit's Game Center ID so we can compare our achievements and see who does better.
Bit's got the edge, man.
I know, he's on the inside. Hopefully, that doesn't work in his favor too much.
That's true. So another fine week. Look forward to next time.
Yep.
Thanks everyone for watching and checking us out. And feel free to subscribe, tell your friends, and share, and everything else. Until next time, thanks again.
I'm Leon.
I'm Stephanie. Bye.
See ya.